Screen time struggles, helping parents establish healthy boundaries at home. Welcome again to the Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ayolua. My name is Ayolua Adedeji. And as you all know, I am the founder and the lead consultant at the Mother Family Focus. And today, we have another interesting discussion to have on this show. So if you are joining me here, please share the link to this live session to parents on your content. In case you are joining me for the first time and you are wondering what is parenting, what is the Mother Family Focus, what we do as at the Mother Family Focus is that we equip parents, caregivers to raise well-rounded children. We equip them with tools and strategies that they need to raise well-rounded, well-balanced children without compromising discipline, without compromising honor. So if you are joining me this day, welcome to this live session. I promise you, just as past session has been, you are going to leave this place more equipped as parents. Today, we are going to talk about, we are diving into the most common battles at home. Screen time. Screen time. I mean, one of the biggest battles that parents are facing right now is screen battle. And the truth is that the digital age has changed parenting totally. So we need to talk on how to set healthy boundaries at home. You know, the battle ranges from the toddlers glued to cartoons, teenagers lost in their phones, on TikTok, and all that. Digital age has changed everything about parenting. And let's be honest, it's not just about the children. Like I said in the last episode, it is not just about the children. Even we adults, we struggle with screen time too. Yes, I had that experience, struggling with screen time. But our focus today is this: how do we set boundaries for our children without turning it into daily wars? How do we do this? There are strategies to achieve this. There are tools that you need to achieve this. You cannot just say, I'm a parent and this is what I want. There are strategies that you need to use to put in place to achieve this, so that setting that boundaries will not cause more chaos. Because if you don't know how to set the boundary, you will, you are going to crash everything. Yes, you are going to crash everything, and on the long run, you will not achieve your aim. So it is important that we learn how to set healthy boundaries in such a manner that carries every member of the family along, and that is effective. That is what this session is all about. And I like to say that boundary is not punishment. Boundary is not punishment. It is protection. Boundary is not punishment. When you are setting boundaries, either with screen, with, sleeping time, anything whatsoever, boundaries, especially in parenting, is not punishment. It is protection. That is why you need to learn. Like I've always said, that parenting is not an intuition. It is a learned skill. It is a skill that you need to learn so that you can have effective results, so that you can achieve your aim without causing more harm. So boundary is not punishment. It is protection. When you are putting boundaries in place, you are protecting your children. You are protecting every member of the family, especially when it comes to screen. If you don't put boundaries in place, if you don't set boundaries around digital use, around devices in the home, you are going to miss it. You are going to damage your children. Yes, you are going to damage your children. Obatade Olatunji, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me again. You are welcome. You are going to damage your children if all you do is, you allow your children to use their devices anytime, wherever they want, anyhow. I said it and I'll continue to say it, that screens are not neutral. They shape how our children think. They shape how they feel. They shape how they think, their identity. Yes, screen whether it is TV, laptop, phones, and all that. And like I said last week, that when I'm talking about digital devices, I'll be using it interchangeably with phones, with laptops, with social medias, and all that. They are all under digital devices. So if you are free, if you are permissive on the use of digital devices at home, you are setting up your children for failure, because screens are not neutral. They give your children sense of identity. They shape how your children think. They shape how your children feel. They even shape their emotional status. Yeah, so it is important for us to set healthy boundaries around the use of digital devices. So I've heard parents complaining, my children, I struggle with screen time with my children and all that. I have handled an issue where a teenager wanted to kill his parents because of phone. This is not story. This is what happened that I handled. Because of phone. Because of phone. It's as serious as that. So why does screen feel like a battle? Why is it that in many homes, screen time, especially with teenagers now, the usage of screen in the home, setting boundaries around digital devices has been a battle in many homes? Why? Let us unpack why screen time battles happen. Number one is that screens are addictive. Screens are addictive. If you're an adult and you are used to screen, you will understand what I'm saying. That screens are addictive. The bright colors, the instant rewards, the endless content make screen feel irresistible to developing brains. The beautiful colors, that's how you see children that can sit in front of cartoons for hours without eating, without crying for anything, without wanting anything. Why? Because screens are addictive. All the bright colors, the instant reward, the songs, they are captivating, the endless content, some makes them laugh and all that. So it makes screen feel irresistible for them. They just feel they can't do without screen. They just feel that this screen, I must be glued to it, because screens are addictive. The second reason is that they offer an escape. Screen offer escape. When life is overwhelming or boring, children retreat to screen. You see some children, when they are feeling angry, they just pick their phone and all that. Even as adults, sometimes I do that. When I'm angry, I pick up phone, although I don't walk around. It's either I'm reading or I'm doing something. But for children, because they don't really have something meaningful doing on the screen, so the screen offer an escape for them. It's like, I can hide here. I can do this. I can reward myself with it. When they are feeling overwhelmed, when they are feeling boring, you and I will understand that with screen, you can really feel bored. It's either you are watching a comedy, you are watching film, you are watching pictures, you hardly feel bored when you are on screen. So children also experience the same thing. It's like the screen complements them, especially when they feel overwhelmed, especially when they feel angry. For instance, for a crying child, if you could just say, "Oh, come and take phone," some children will immediately stop crying and will take the phone. Why? Because that screen is serving as escape routes for them. That's the second reason why screen time feels like a battle in the home. And the third one I want to talk about is that parents use screen as pacifiers. That's why I keep saying it. As parents, if your child is crying and you don't want your child to cry again, and the next thing is that you are giving phone to your child, or especially mothers, when you are busy, and you want to engage your children, you just sit them in front of TV. Oh yeah, come and watch this cartoon. Come and watch this cartoon. And as much as you are busy, maybe in the kitchen or in the bathroom, or you are working or something, your children stay glued to the screen. You are using screen as pacifier. Yes. So out of desperation, out of you wanting to control your children, you wanting to excuse yourself from them, you hand them device for peace. So by the time you understand the damage that the screen is doing to your children and you want to set boundaries, it becomes a battle because your children has gotten used to the screen. As much as we can, I've said it on this show, I've said it on my social media platform. If your child is less than 3 years, for 3 years, please take them away from screen. They don't need screen. They don't need screen. What they need at that age is physical exercise, physical activities like painting, playing with sand, playing with toys, moving their body, activities that will help their cognitive skills, activities that will help their mental, that will teach them emotional intelligence, emotional regulation. Pajo, Pajo, Pajo. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome, sir. So it is important that we are conscious about all those things that we are doing. So when you use screens as pacifiers for your children, you don't want your children to cry, you don't want your children to disturb you, you want your children to stay at a place and you keep them glued to screen. I have seen children stay on phone, on laptop for like 2 hours uninterruptedly. That is risky. That is damaging the child's brain. Remember that your child's brain is still growing. So exposing your children to excessive screen damages their brain development, their mental development. It does. So I've talked about reasons why screen time battles happen, why setting healthy boundaries around digital devices at home end up in battle. I said the first thing is because screens are addictive. The second one is because screen offer escape. And the third one is because parents use screen as pacifier. So considering this, you should now know that it is very important to set healthy boundaries around digital use. So here is what happens over time. When these three things happen to children, here is what happens. The children become emotionally dependent on screen. Yes, and this is dangerous. When children become emotionally dependent, when they have emotional need, they turn out to digital devices. It's that they go to play game, they go to watch film, they go to, watch songs and all that. They depend on a screen for emotional stability. The second thing is the family relationship weakens. Family relationship weakens. If as a family you don't set healthy boundaries around digital use at home, you won't notice this on time. But what happens is that your relationship as a family weakens. Yes, I said it on this session last week on on last week's episode that it is important to have a screen-free day. I called it Digital Sabbath. If you attend that session, you will understand what I mean. And if you don't, it's still available. You can watch it on my YouTube channel. It's available there. So you should have a time where every member of the family do away with screen to promote relational activities, to relate as family, talk together, play together, gist together. Most times when we have digital free time in our home, that's when our children would say what happened in school. Oh, mommy, somebody did this to me in school. Oh, daddy, this is what happened when I was here and all that. It brings connection. So if you have not done that, this is one of the things you should do after this session. Agree and set up a time where screen will be away from every member of the family. You can choose anything that works for you. It could be Sundays, it could be weekend and all that. Here, in fact, the days that our screens are on are few. Maybe once or twice a week. Except for me that I work online. So it is important so that our family relationship will be in contact. Balogun Omolola, thank you for joining me. I recognize you. So the next thing that happens is that the children resist any attempt at boundaries. If you have exposed your children to excessive screen, when you are ready to set the boundary, it becomes problem. It becomes problem because, like I said earlier, that screens are addictive. So when you start to implement healthy boundaries, they push back, they push boundaries, and that makes it more difficult. So what starts as convenience now become captivity. For those of you that we engage your children with screen, when you now want to take the screen back, it's now problem. So you really need to look at that. So let us understand the brain before we move on. Let us understand how the brain works, how screen affects the brain. So here is what science says. Excessive screen time can overstimulate the brain. Excessive screen time overstimulates the brain. Even as an adult, when I work on screen, I work online. So most times it's either I'm on laptop or I'm on phone doing a training, attending, writing and all that. At some point, I feel stress, stress emotionally. I feel overstimulation. I just feel like I'm not okay upstairs somehow, and I take a break. So excessive screen time for children can overstimulate the brain, and that is why our children now, they misbehave. Yes, they misbehave. They can't even manage their emotions. In those days, I was sharing last week that in those days, you can, as a child, you can easily pick information from your parents without them opening their eyes, their mouth. Just with a blink of eye, you can understand what your parents is saying. Do that to our children now. They'll probably ask you, Mommy, why are you blinking your face? Daddy, are you okay? Why? Because most of them they are exposed to excessive screen time, and it's causing overstimulation. They lack situational awareness. They don't even know what is happening around them. They don't know what is happening around them. So excessive screen time can overstimulate the brain. It can also interfere with sleep, attention, and emotional regulation. One of the rules we put in place in our home is that anytime after 5, no TV for the children, no phone, no laptop, except on rare cases. Maybe they have assignment to do on laptop. Aside that, anything after 5, no screen time, because screen can interfere with sleep. When children are exposed to screen time excessively, they find it difficult to sleep. It can interfere with attention. It can interfere with emotional regulation. It is doing more. Screens are doing more harm than good to our children if we refuse to put control around it. The next one is that dopamine. This is the feel good chemical. This is a chemical in our body that makes us feel good. So when dopamine gets released with each tap, each scroll, making it hard to stop. Like I said earlier, this still explains why screens are addictive. When children are exposed, or even adults, when we are exposed to screen time excessively, these chemicals, dopamine, gets released into our body system, and it makes it difficult for us to stop. And that is why even when you are tired, you can stick to TikTok for hours, from one video to another video, from one comedy to another comedy. What is happening is that your dopamine, the chemical, that chemical is being released in large quantum, and you find it difficult to stop. You find it hard to stop. So this is also happening to our children. So children's brains are still developing. So too much screen can hinder language development. See, I've been saying it. If your child is below age 3, age 4, please take away screen from them. Excessive screen will interfere with their language development, with their speech development. Yes, I have seen this work. I have seen this. So take your children, take them away from screen, involve them in physical activities that will engage them to communicate, that will engage them to speak. It can also affect social skills. Children these days, they lack social skills. And one of the things that we do here is to replace physical activities with screen time. Sometimes in the evening, we just send our children out to go and play with other children. You see, social skills, as much as emotional intelligence is important, spiritual intelligence is important, social skill is also important. This is the ability to relate with people, to manage healthy relationship. If a child has high EQ, high emotional intelligence, and if the child lacks social intelligence, this child might struggle to survive. This child might struggle to survive. So one of the things that screen will do to children who are exposed excessively to screen is that they will lack social skills. They can't just relate with human beings. They can't just relate with people. They find it boring. They find it uninteresting to relate with people. Social skills are not taught in classrooms. They are skills they are practical skills that are taught, that are learned when we are relating with each other. Even as adults, some of us lack social skills. And it is very important. It's one of the life-changing life skills that we need to expose our children to, even at the early stage. So the brain are still developing. So too much screen can hinder language development, social skills, and emotional control. So we are not just protecting our eyes when we are talking about screen time management. We are also protecting our children's development. If you are setting healthy boundaries around the use of digital devices in your home, you are not just protecting your child's eyes. A lot of parents, when I talk about setting boundaries, they feel like it's just to protect our children, not to watch what they are not going to, what they are not supposed to watch. And I can create what my children can watch. I can protect my children from what and what they should not watch. No. It is not only to protect our children from their eyes, it is also to protect their brain development. Remember I said it earlier, that screens are not neutral. No, screens are not neutral. They shape how our children think. They shape how they feel. They shape how they become. So it is important. So now let's talk about setting boundaries that sticks. Setting boundaries. Let's talk about practical battle-free strategies that works if you want to create healthy digital boundaries. If you don't have any boundaries around digital use at home, these strategies that I'm going to share will work for you. And if you have, it will still solidify it. So the first one I want to talk about is to create a family media plan. Create a family media plan. I designed a family digital master plan guide. This guide will help you to set healthy boundaries. If you have not gotten a copy, you can get it on Seller. It's available on Seller. So it will guide you to set healthy boundaries, both for you, the parents, and the children. There are about 8 sessions in that guide who provides the use of devices, maintenance of devices, laws that guide the use of devices at home, and all that. Please do well to get yours. If you are parenting and you don't have your family media plan in place, honestly, things will go wrong. Things will go wrong. Screen, digital devices, they are damaging our children's self-worth. It is high time that we are intentional about it. So you decide together. I said it last week that setting boundaries is not about you standing and saying, oh, from today, nobody is going to watch TV in this house. Nobody is going to do this. No, you call everybody. Let everybody participate. Agree together. You see, in parenting, if you don't carry your children along, all your rules, your strategies, your plans will be dead on arrival. But if you carry your children along, trust me, children, they will follow through. They will follow through. So one of the things we did when we are setting up our family digital master plan here in our home is that we had a meeting and we both agreed. I shared last week on this session, one of the things that we put in place so that our children can take care of their devices is that if anyone spoiled any device out of carelessness, the person will pay for the repair, even if it is the youngest one. And you may wonder, how will they find money to pay for the repair? Yes, they have money, their savings. And that money, we both agreed that their savings are for two reasons. Number one is for any device, to repair any device that they destroy carelessly. And number two is for anything they want. So even if their savings is not enough to repair the device, we will borrow them the money and they will pay us back. And this is how they pay back. Of course, for their birthday, they deserve to have a nice treat, maybe birthday cake, nice gift and all that. So you will pay us the worth of the money that we spent in repairing the device. And this is June. June is almost ending. No remote control at this point in our house. No. Why? Funny enough, they agreed by themselves, that they chose the consequences by themselves, that if we spoil anything out of carelessness, this is what we will do. These are consequences. And because they were carried along, they follow through. They handled the laptops, the TV and all that. They handled it carefully. They handle it carefully. So setting healthy boundaries, not about imposing, no. It's not about giving verdicts. Carry them along. Sometimes when we are setting rules and consequences, we ask our children, okay, if you do this and this, what do you think should happen? What do you think should serve as your consequences? And they will choose by themselves and we will document it. So when they misbehave, we just bring out the consequences. Oh, this is our consequences. This is what you agree. So since you have gone against the rule, this is what should happen to you. So when you carry your children along, it will help you, to implement the rules and the strategies that you have put in place. So together decide how much screen time, when and what content. The last session, I talked about the 3 buckets rule of digital devices, of use of digital devices. If you missed last session, please, you need to watch it. You can't understand this session thoroughly if you missed last session. So you need to agree together how much screen is okay for the family. When, what content. Here, 30 minutes, maximum 2 hours. That is if they are using their digital device for educational purposes. If not, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, they are done. And it's not every day. Most times, weekend. And some weeks, no screen. Yes, we really need to protect our children, mental development. Also, post it visibly. Make it visible. At least once a month, we talk about our digital family digital master plan here. We sit together as family, we review it. If we need to add something to the plan, we add it. So it's not something you design and you leave and go. No, you keep reviewing it, make it visible. You can print it out. I've said it here many times. If you come into our room, our living room, you will see paper. You will see drawings. You will see posters that we pasted on the wall so that everybody can see. This is not a matter of I have forgotten. Our family vision is on the wall. Our family core values is on the wall. Emotion wheel is on the wall. This is not just to put, something that is to serve as reminder so that it will be visible for everyone. So the second thing is to use clear language. We are talking about setting boundaries that sticks. Use clear language. Let your children understand. The rules that children don't understand, they will not follow it. Speak in a language that they understand. Oh, no screen time before home phone. No screen time until you are done with your home phone. And be consistent about it. I have said it. See, consistency does the magic in parenting. Inconsistency is the enemy of discipline. If you are not consistent with your rules, with your consequences, with your strategies, with your systems, your children will not take you seriously and you will not achieve your desired results. So be consistent. If you insist, if you agree as a family that in a day everyone has a right to be exposed to screen for 30 minutes or an hour, be consistent with it. Don't let it be on Monday they watch screen for 30 minutes, on Tuesday 40 minutes, on Wednesday 10 minutes. No. If the time needs to be extended, there should be reason for it that they would understand. If our children has to be on screen more than 30 minutes, of course they know. They know that they are using it for academic purpose. Aside that, no screen time past 30 minutes a day. So use clear language. Then replace. The third one is to replace. Don't just remove. I said it last week that it is not about setting a digital boundary. It's not about taking away screen from children. No. It's about protecting our children by replacing something with the screen. You don't want your children to be exposed to screen then and you didn't have plan for any other thing apart from screen. Of course, they'll be attracted to screen and you can do little or nothing to stop them. So have other physical activities in place, like playing games together, playing board games together. Sometimes we just stay together as family, no screen, we play together, we gist together. Sometimes I just sit and I tell my children, oh yeah, come and teach me something. Teach me. And they will teach. Sometimes it's just story. We just tell ourselves stories. Sometimes we just go outside, outdoor play and play together. So you need to engage your children if you don't want them to be glued to screen. That is an effective way of setting healthy digital boundaries. So if you are struggling with your children with the use of digital devices, it could be that you have not created another opportunity aside screen. Play with them. Have board games, have card, have Ludo, have Legos. Do it together. You will see that you won't struggle with the use of digital devices with your children. So don't just take screen away. Offer alternatives. Suggest puzzles, outdoor games, baking together, cooking together. Before I came into last session, we just finished cooking together with our children. These are activities that will engage them. And if you are consistent with those activities, they won't even bother about screen. That is it. They won't bother so much about screen. So replace, don't just remove. Don't just take away screen from your children. No. Replace it with other activities. Then the fourth thing to do is to use visual timers and warnings. Use visual timers and warning. Give them notice ahead. When our children are on screen, sometimes I tell them, check the time. What's the time now? They tell me the time. The next 30 minutes, you are to stop whatever you are doing on that screen. When it is 10 minutes to the time, I remind them it's 10 minutes to stop the screen. So that you don't just end, their activities on the screen abruptly. No. Children need time, unlike adults, to process some commands. So you really need to use timers, use visual timers, use alarm. Sometimes I use alarm. I set alarm on my phone. This is so time. When the alarm rings, you should know that that's the time for you to stop what you are doing on the screen. So like 5 minutes, 10 minutes warning before the screen ends. This helps the brain to transition smoothly. If you fail to equip your children to help them to transit smoothly, it will be chaotic. Getting them to use screen effectively will be difficult. Then model digital discipline. Model digital discipline. You as a parent, be disciplined. Be disciplined with the use of digital devices. I said it in the last session. If you are irresponsible with the use of devices, your children will follow suit. Like I always say, that if as a parent we can model what we want to see in our children, the attitudes, the character, the virtues we want to see in our children, if we can model it, 70 to 80% of our job is done. So if you are the kind of parent that is irresponsible, you are playing music so loud, you can watch anything, anywhere, anyhow, your children will follow suit. Children do what we do, not what we say. If you're always on your phone, especially when you're not doing anything, they will too. I have to sit my children down and tell them that my use of phone, my use of screen, I'm not playing. That's my office. That's where I work. So that you won't think mommy is just Facebooking or doing nonsense on the screen. No. So we need to model digital discipline. Be disciplined. Even as a family, we have rule in place. During mealtime, no screen. No screen. And if by chance, I or my husband, maybe we quickly want to respond or quickly want to do something on the screen, you will hear the children scream, "Mommy, no screen time! Mommy, it's dinner time, no screen time! Daddy, you are on screen. You are breaking our family rules." Why? Because we have set healthy boundaries around the digital use in our family. So, model digital discipline. I talked about 5 practical battle-free strategies. The number 1 is to create a family media plan. Number 2 is to use clear language. Replace, don't just remove. Use timers and warnings, and model digital discipline. Discipline feel harsh when it is not modeled with love and example. If you are expecting your children to use digital devices responsibly and you are not using it responsibly, that discipline is going to be harsh, and they are likely not to obey you. So let's talk about how to manage meltdown and resistance. How to manage meltdown and resistance. When your child is resisting boundaries, when you are telling your child, stop that phone, stop doing that on laptop, stop doing this on TV, and they are resisting or they are throwing tantrums, how do you manage such situations? Let us be real that children won't agree with our boundaries. If you are a parent and you are expecting that your children will just say yes ma, yes sir, and obey everything you say, there's a problem. Because children's brain were designed to push boundaries. They're going to push your boundaries. They're going to, they want to see how far they can go. But here is how you can stay calm and consistent. Stay firm, not harsh. Stay firm, not harsh. Gone are the days that we think harsh discipline is the best way to discipline a child. It is not. Harsh discipline leads to resentment. It leads to disobedience. It can, in some instances, it can cause instant obedience. But deep within, it can lead to resentment. And that's why most parents will say, when parents come to me and say, my children only do what I ask them to do when I am around. When I'm not there, they do what they like. It's because your disciplinary approach is hard. It's harsh, yes. It's because your disciplinary methods are not, welcomed. So you need to watch how you discipline your children. Harsh discipline may yield instant obedience, but on the long run, it leads to resentment. It leads to disobedience, because what you are correcting your child for, they will still do it in another manner. I've seen that come to play over and over in children. So when you are setting healthy boundaries, stay firm, not harsh. Validate their feelings. Our little baby, we are having issue with screen time now. You want to collect phone, you want to play with phone and all that. And sometimes when we collect phone from him and he's throwing tantrum, I just hold his hand and I will tell him, I understand that you want to use phone, And I would also want you to use it, but screen is dangerous for you. I know you are upset because you want more screen time, but at your age, you don't need to be exposed to screen. So you need to validate their feelings. Don't, give me that phone. No. Will you please go and switch off that TV? It's not going to work. It may give instant obedience, but on the long run, your children will still disobey. So validate their feelings, but stay clear. Stay clear. Screen time is over now. Sometimes when our children are watching something on TV, maybe they are watching documentaries or music and all that, and it's about time to stop, you will see that reaction on their faces that they don't want to stop. And I will tell them, I can understand that it can be difficult to stop what you are enjoying, but this is after 5, so you have to stop the screen. Reluctantly, they will switch it off. We can always come back to it some other time. So you need to stay firm, but not harsh. You can stay firm and not be harsh. Yes, you can be firm and not be harsh. Don't argue with the brain in pain. Don't argue with the brain in pain. When your children are angry, and that is when you want to teach, that is when you want to, enforce, it's not going to work. Meltdown are normal. Even as adults, we have meltdown. Yes, it is normal to have meltdown, but stay calm. Repeat the limits. Repeat it. Even when your child is having a meltdown, keep emphasizing that limit, especially if you have communicated them to the children. Sometimes when we ask our children to turn off the TV, they will cry. They will be shedding tears. Oh, it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotions. It's normal. But we agreed that from so time to so time, that is when you are allowed to use the screen. So don't argue at that time when your children are angry with your boundaries, when they are pushing your boundaries. That is not the time, to be harsh. That's not the time to argue. I made a video on how to raise emotional intelligent children. Yes, the video is on my YouTube channel. If you have not watched it, you need to watch it. And one of the things I said in that video is that there is a section of the brain, the amygdala, that's the section that is responsible for emotions. This part of the brain switch on when a child is throwing tantrums, when you are disciplining a child, when the child is afraid, or when the child is scared, is angry. So at that point that section of the brain is switched on, the child cannot learn. When amygdala is switched on, prefrontal cortex, that's another section of the brain that is responsible for logical thinking, for emotional control, for learning. That section of the brain turns off automatically. So when a child is angry, when a child is throwing tantrum, when a child is upset, amygdala is on, is active, while prefrontal cortex is off. That time, no matter what you are trying to teach that child is not going to learn. That child is not going to learn. So an angry child is not a learning child. So when your child is throwing tantrum, the right thing to do is to validate the child, firmly affirm the limits, and make sure that the child feels safe. So when the child is in the normal emotional state, when the prefrontal cortex is at work, then you can teach the child. So don't argue with the brain when in pain, when the brain is having meltdown. Please, you do not need to argue. Then be consistent. The more predictable the boundaries are, the less power struggle you will feel. Those of you that will say, my children cannot even predict what I can do, you are confusing your children. Children thrive on predictability. When your children can know what you can do per time, it guides their behavior. Her daughter came home one of the school days and she was narrating what happened at school. And she said something. She said, I wanted to do this, but I said her, if I do this, mommy will just finish me. That is predictability, because she knows that if she attempts this, this is what will happen. So as a parent, you should be predictable with your consequences. You should be predictable. Your children should be able to say, if I do this 10 times, this is what daddy will do to me 10 times. If I do this 5 times, this is what mommy will do to me 10 times. Predictability. Be consistent. And you can only be predictable if you are consistent. There are some bad behaviors here that is not negotiable. Once they do it, they know the consequences. Even if they do it 20 times, they will face the consequences 20 times. That is predictability. And the more predictable you are as parents, the more, the less power struggle. Your children will struggle with you that much. No. If you are predictable. Like I said earlier, consistency is important because consistency is kindness in disguise. If you are consistent with your children, you don't know what you are doing to your child's brain. You are conditioning your child's brain to be able to make right choices, even when you are not there. Even when you are not there. The reason why some of our children will not be able to take healthy decisions, better choices, if we the parents are not there, is because parents have not been consistent with their boundaries, with their rules, with limits, and with consequences. So consistency is kindness in disguise. So let's now talk about creating screen-free zones and time. Creating screen-free zones and time. Design screen-free pockets in your home and routine. Design screen-free pockets. Have place like when we are having meal time, no screen. TVs are off, phones are off, laptops are off. We as a family, we are relating as human beings. When we are having family bonding time, every day we have family bonding time at night before we go to bed. We stay together as family, we read to our children, we gist, we talk, we play and all that. No screen, no TV, no television, no music, no radio, nothing. We are relating as human beings. So you need to have screen-free pockets, screen-free places. It could be during meal, it could be in the bedroom, it could be when you're having your bonding time. Just have a time for every family member that so time. No devices. No device at the table, no device before some hours before bed and all that. Device free family time. Have board games, like I said earlier. Have games. Storytelling, walk. Sometimes you just stroll around with the children. We stroll around and come back. That's a screen-free pocket time in your home. These rituals build connection. See, you see all these things that we are saying, if you keep implementing, it will look as if nothing is happening. Really. It will look as if nothing is happening. That's why I do tell parents, you see all these little things, just try. You just try. Just try. Just try for 3, 4, 6 months and see how your children will respond to your discipline. Just give it a try. So these rituals, they build connection. When you play board game with your children, even with game, you can teach your children values. You can teach your children morals and all that. With story, using storytelling, we run a course at the Modern Family Focus, play therapy course for parents. Soon the course will be out. Please, you need to register for that course because you are going to learn how to use game to teach your children honesty, to teach your children hard work, to teach your children collaboration and all that. Play, true play. So, these rituals build connections. Screen time. Screens build distractions. Screen build distractions. I remember there was a time I had public speaking engagements on raising digitally something on digital devices in a church. And there was a picture that I used on my slides. And the picture is about, in fact, I think that was the picture I used on the family digital master plan guide. So the picture There were families, I think family of 5 in a living room sitting together, and each of them are on their devices. Just imagining you as a family. Maybe you are a man, you are watching me with a wife, and you have 3 children, 5 of you staying in the living room, and you as a father, you are on LinkedIn. The wife is on Instagram, one child is on Facebook, another one on TikTok, another one on YouTube. That's 5 of you staying together physically but far away. That is what is happening in our families now. Unconsciously, day by day, connections, relationships are being taken away. Relationships are replaced by screens. Families who lived under the same roof, but they are in different worlds, different worlds. I have seen children, teenagers on screen, on phone, and you will be talking to them, they won't even hear you. Screen build distractions, but rituals build relationship. You see this tech-free pocket that I just talked about? Just try it. Just try it. After this session, call your family together. Just agree. Or better still, get the family digital master plan guide. It will guide you from A to Z, everything you need to put in place around your digital use in the family. Just try it, and you will see the development that will happen, not just to your children, but to your family. So, create screen-free zones and times. From so time to so time. No screen. No screen. That is very important. Like I said these rituals build connection. Screens build distractions. Screens build distraction, but rituals build relationship. Our goals as parents is not to eliminate screens. No, that's not the goal of this session. That's not the goal of setting digital boundaries. Not at all. It's not to eliminate our children from screen. Of course, if you take away your children from screen, you are doing the service for them, to them. I have seen parents who instructed their children to, get away from social media because I don't want you to get exposed. And somehow, those children found their way into that social media. I see them, I relate with them. Like I said, when you are creating boundaries, involve your children. You are the parents. Yes, I know. You see all this, I am the parent. Anything I tell you, you must do it. You must obey. That era has gone. You see children of these days, if you don't involve them in decision that pertains to them, see, your rules are dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. You will discover that you just made those rules for yourself. So you need to involve them. You need to equip them with skills that they need. You don't just wake up as parents and say, we are canceling social media. We are canceling this. We are not doing this. I said it on this show last week. Our children, our first daughter is 7 years going on 8 years. Currently, she's aware, part of our family digital master plan is that no child will be on social media until they are 18 years. She's hearing this from age 7. We talk about it every now and then. We agreed. When we told them, when we were doing the digital master plan guide, when we told them that nobody is going on social media until age 18, our daughter said, I'm going on 7 now. From now till 18, I will not be on social media. I say, yes, you won't. And this is why. Because before now till then, you are likely not to get the necessary skills that you need to navigate the social media effectively. So we, the parents, will ensure that we equip you from now till you are age 18. So that when you get yourself into social media, you'll be doing something reasonable. not setting ring lights to dance, doing what? Doing nonsense. No, that's not going to happen here. So we have agreed, they are aware. Even the younger one, they are aware that they are not going on social media until they are age 18. So it's a skill that you need to impute in your children. It's a system that you need to put in place. And if you have a younger children, the right time for you to start is now, before they get to the teen age. If they get to the teen age and you now start, putting boundaries, what are you doing on social media? You are spending time on Facebook. You are just wasting your energy, because by that time they would have gone far on social media. So it's important that you start putting systems in place now. Systems. If your children are young and you are watching me, I'm so happy for you, because by the time your children grows up, if you follow the strategies I'm sharing, by the time your children grows up, you will not struggle with them. You will not struggle with them. We told our children, yes, you won't have access to social media until you are age 18. And even after age 18, if you want to go on social media, you need to tell us what you want to do on social media. Part of our digital master plan as a family is that they don't access strangers' phone. And they know why. They don't access someone that's not family members' laptop or phone and all that. No, you don't access strangers' device. So you really need to put these things in place. They are aware now that none of them will have exclusive access to laptop or phone and all that. No. There is one for the family that everybody can access. These are little things that we need to put in place to help our children to set healthy boundaries around digital use. So like I was saying, I said the goal is not to eliminate screen from our children. There are schools that don't use pen and notebook, that they use laptop. I'm sure you are aware. So if you take your children away from screen and somehow your children, find themselves competing with those kind of children, they won't find it easy. So the goal is not to take your children away from screen. Don't say because Coach Ayolu has said we should take screen away from our children, so my children would know. The point is to raise digitally wise children, not socially wise, social media wise children. The goal is to raise children that will be able to use screen in a way that fosters development, that fosters emotional regulation, that fosters learning, not in a manner that will consume them. That's the goal. That's the goal. So the goal is to help our children live in balance. In balance. I was talking about the 3 buckets rule that I shared last week. I categorized the use of devices into 3: educational purposes, recreational purposes, and relational purposes. Yes, three buckets rule, and that's what we use in our home. So every member of the family is allowed to apply these 3 bucket rule anywhere you are, even if you are not in the home and you have access to digital devices. It's either you are using it for educational purpose. Educational purpose includes, learning apps, doing home fun, doing designs on screen and all that. That's educational purpose, learning on screen. The second one is recreational purposes. Maybe you are watching movie, you are, playing educative games and all that. And relational purpose is that you are relating with people, healthy relationship with people, with member of the family, both nuclear family and extended family. Please, I'm saying it again, if you missed that session, this session is not complete if you missed last week's session. It's available on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed. I have about 45 videos on parenting that you can watch and learn. Please do subscribe so that you will not miss the big learning. So when you teach your children these rules, it helps them to reach that balance. Even when they are using screen, they know what to do with screen and what not to do with screen. One of the questions we have taught our children to ask themselves when they are on screen is to ask themselves, what I'm doing on this screen, what is it doing to me? Is it improving me? Is it helping me? Or is it taking away from me? Once you are able to answer that question correctly, then you'll be able to use the screen in a respectful manner. So, and this is what we should do to our children. So our goal is not to eliminate screen, but to help our children live in balance. Don't take away phones from your children if they need to use phone for something productive. Just guide them. Just put systems in place for them, except younger children like toddlers, like from age 3-4 downward. They don't need screen. They don't need screen. If you ever need to put your child of that age on screen, please make it educative and very minimal. Make, set boundaries around that. All these cartoons that children watch, we don't watch it here. Get building blocks. Get sand. Let them go to sand pit to go and play, to have physical activities. That is what will help their cognitive skills. I'm talking about the younger children. Yes, the younger children from age 4 below. So your children need to know how to say no when enough is enough. That is around the use of digital devices. You need to teach your children to be able to say no. They need to. I talked about discernment last session. Discernment. You need to teach your children to be able to discern, to know what is good for them, what they can watch and what they cannot watch. This is one thing that we are able to teach our children, even at any stage, even outside the screen. When you are walking and you see someone dressed half naked, you are not supposed to now focus and be watching. You know it's against our family value. So you excuse yourself, either physically or mentally. You take your eyes away from such. So we need to teach our children to know, that's living in balance, to know when to say no, when enough is enough. We also need to teach our children to focus on their values, not just what is viral. If you are watching me and you don't have your family system installed, I have been saying it. What it means is that your family stands for nothing and your family will fall for anything. Let me say it again. If you are watching me and you don't have your family system installed as a family, what it means is that your family has no value. Your family has no vision. Your family stands for nothing and your family will fall for anything. Children who are raised in this kind of home are children who will behave well at home, and when they go out, they misbehave. Why? Because the parents has not been able to, build value in them. Teach them their value. Teach them what the family stands for. These are children that will get to school, children that are raised in Christian homes, in religious homes, and they will get to school and they will be messing up. These are the kind of children. Why? Because the family stands for nothing. If you are watching me, please contact us at the Model Family Focus. We will guide you. We will help you to get your family system installed. Your family system will walk you through, installing your family vision, your family mission, your family core values. This will give every member of the family a sense of identity. And what this will do to your children is, even when you are not there, it's a guiding principle that is binding every member of the family together. That even when you are not there, your children can take informed decisions. Your children can make better choices even when you are not there. If you are watching me, you don't have your family system installed, please, you can contact us at the Model Family Focus. We will help you. Also, you need to teach your children to build real world relationships. And this can be achieved outside screen. Let your children relate with people. We have taught our children, when we have visitors, even if it's adults, that's not the time to give your children phone and they'll be playing game. No, we stay together as family and relate. That's how to build social skills. That's how to build real world relationship, relating with people, because people really matter. So let me end this with this thought. Let me end this session with this thought. Raise a child who can put screen down because they have something better to pick up. Let me say it again. Parents, let us raise children who can put their screens down. Why? Because they have something better to pick up. Thank you for joining me. Once again, my name is Ayoluwa Adedeji. I am a family life practitioner. I am a parenting coach. I am the founder and the lead consultant at the Mother Family Focus. At the Mother Family Focus, what we do is that we teach parents how to parent. We teach parents how to parent. If you are a parent, you need us at the Mother Family Focus. Parenting is not an intuition. Parenting is a learned skill. So come and learn how to parent. We have done the work. Yes, we have models, practical models, strategies that has helped parents to raise well-rounded children. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Every Sunday by 2 p.m. I am live talking about parenting. I love parenting. I love everything about parenting. I love to teach about parenting, and I love to learn about parenting. So anytime I show on your screen, know that I want to teach about parenting. And please share the link to this of this session to parents, your children's teacher, your colleagues at work, your church member, because your child is not safe until every other child is safe. And how do you secure other children? By informing their parents to come and learn where you are learning from. Thank you again. Thank you all about Lade Olatunji Pajo. Thank you, sir. My friend Balogun Omolola and every other person watching. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, keep parenting with intention.